Welcome to Functional Philosophy. Oh, wait, actually, this isn't functional philosophy. Sorry about that. I used to be a very famous YouTuber, but the world wasn't ready for me. So now I post on Substack, behind a paywall. This is Charles 2. The following is a preview of my Substack article, What is the Point of Women? Posted June 10th, 2025. It reads as follows. Production is the essence of human existence, yet one half of the species is noticeably worse at it than the other. Women are physically weaker than men, of course, but since wealth generation depends more on thought than manual labor, this does not explain the productive gap between the sexes. Women's inferior mathematical, mechanical, and navigational abilities also fail to explain it. Whatever their cognitive deficiencies, women retain the basic capacity to reason, and this can overcome any intellectual limitation. Just as the man with the longest legs can walk no farther than anyone else, only faster, so the man with the biggest brain can reach no level of understanding beyond anyone else. Speed is even less of an advantage in intellectual matters, because those in front are constantly shortening the mental difference between themselves and those behind them by sharing what they have learned. Like me and my Substack. Unlike the races, the sexes have existed in equal numbers in every culture that has ever existed, including those most conducive to female achievement. Ancient Greece, for example, was free enough that it would have produced some female philosophers worth studying if oppression were responsible for women's lack of intellectual contributions to a society. Yet across all societies, over thousands of years, the number of noteworthy female thinkers that have existed is most reasonably rounded to 0. The deepest reason for this, and for women's inferior productivity generally, is that women lack ambition. This should be clear from the failure of the modern world to place any great number of women into positions of authority, even as it blatantly discriminates against men. No matter how much space is reserved for them under the false premise that they were formerly unwelcome, women are not interested in becoming elite producers. This is not to say that women are utterly unproductive. Many do contribute to the productivity of mankind, just not as women. In other words, wealth creation would decrease if women disappeared, but it would increase if they transformed into men. Something which is not currently possible, gender ideology notwithstanding. This fact is obvious enough that any further attempt to establish it would be pointless. Therefore, let us sharpen this edge and move on. Women are weaker, dumber, and lazier than men, and this concludes the sample of my Substack article on women and how they're inferior to men. If you want to read more, you're gonna have to subscribe to my Substack and get through the paywall, because I'm in pretty high demand.